Hello, hello. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Yolandi. I'm your personal style and confidence coach. And this week we're talking about how we can take our wardrobe from meh to ooh for spring. And yes, those are official technical terms, meh and ooh. Really though, we're going from cozy, we've been bundled up, it's been cold out, but we still want to feel chic. So I'm calling it cozy to chic. And we're gonna revamp all the things that we've got, take them from the winter season, from the cold into spring, but we're doing it with the trends that are or were on the spring 2023 runways. Now, these fashion shows happen far in advance. So these runway shows have been floating around since September of last year. And we can look back at those to see now what retailers are going to be putting in stores. Now, a lot of these shows happen and they happen in such a short time frame that it is, I will be completely honest, really difficult to stay on top of all the shows that happen and to see every single one. So I watch the major ones, the Ralph Laurens, the Pradas, the Chanels, those level of shows that have widely known names for the everyday lay people who may not be as attuned to the fashion community as I, and a few others that happen to just be like favorites that I look at all the time. Those are the ones that I watched for this video. Additionally, I had some criteria because I'm not just going to go in there and say, oh, well, I see this over and over again. This is going to be a trend. I'm going to put this in the video. The things that I have chosen are all easily repurposed, upcycled, or purchased with longevity, meaning they'll last for a long time and not just a quick in and out, except for maybe one, which is the one I'm going to cover first. I purposefully chose these. I purposefully chose these to make sure that it's not a trendy trend like jelly shoes back in the 90s where they were in, out, and maybe should never ever be seen again. Okay, so the first one that I have chosen for this video is cutouts. Now, cutouts have been around for a while, a couple of years, maybe longer. I think they really started to come in 3 years ago. And they're still going strong. They're repeatedly being used season after season. So this is one that probably is about to be on its way out, which is why I chose it, because that means there are plenty of items readily available. So that means you can not only buy things that are brand new this season, but you'll probably be able to find some things in thrift stores or things that are being sold on ThredUp, secondhand. Vinted is another good one. Those are even Facebook Marketplace, local stores like a Plato's Closet. Those are all places that you can potentially find these trending pieces, which this one, like I said, has been around for a while. So if we are smart about it and we're strategic about the things that we're including, the trendy pieces are going to last us for a while and or be incorporated on the cheap, shall we say. So with these cutouts, like I said, you'll have a lot of sources for them. And additionally, because it's a cutout, you can easily go to a thrift store if you want and find something and just make cutouts. So here are some. They will be here. Here are some examples of these. And as these are flipping through, you'll be able to see that it's not just cutout shirts, it's also dresses, it's also jackets, it's on the backside of jackets. These are the things that we can do to refresh our pieces and not always buy pieces. So yes, you can go out and you can buy brand new pieces with cutouts, but if you're like, yo, I don't want to buy anything, you don't have to. You can upcycle things that you've got, add your own cutouts, add your own twist on the cutout trend, and just to roll with it. So don't feel pressured to go buy something new just because it's a trending item. The second one that I chose, this is another one that is they all are really very easy to add to your wardrobe for spring, and it is sequins and shine metallics. So this can take the form of sequins, obviously a fully sequined thing, sequin skirts, and like fully head to toe, the whole, what you can see, fully sequined pieces were big, but you can also simply add sequins to literally anything that you own, and voila, it is instantly a piece of this season's trend. It is part of this season's trend. So if you take something you already have, you can buy a roll of sequins, add it on. I have a couple of pieces in my closet in mind already that I want to do this to. And it's an update that's very simple. And even if you're like, hey, I can't sew, I want to update things and I can't sew. The first one is cutouts. You can just cut that hole right in your garment, wherever you want to put it. You can then add sequins, and all you have to do to add sequins is use fabric glue. I'm not a big proponent of using fabric glue, but I know that not everyone has the sewing skills that I do, or not everyone has access to someone they know who has sewing skills. And so fabric glue is a solution. You can add your sequins that way. Alternatively, you can hand sew them on. It's tedious, but effective, and probably one of the longest lasting methods for applying anything is hand sewing it. So yes, you can go out, pick up some sequin pieces, especially with coming off of the holidays is the other reason I added this one. It's easy to find sequin, metallic, sparkly, shiny, all of those elements. It's easy to find those during the holiday season. Everyone equates festive dressing with sequins, metallics, shiny fabrics, but it's actually something that designers were using for the spring, for their spring shows, which is now. Spring is happening now. That means in stores, not only are you going to find pieces from the fall and from the holiday season on the cheap, you're also going to find newer versions. So you can have your pick of mixing and matching something that's more relevant to you. Additionally, it will give you more choice on colors, as the colors in Christmas and winter around that time tend to be darker, richer, heavier, and colors, girl. And the colors that you'll see now are going to be lighter, brighter, and more springy, if you will. So take a look at these pieces as they've been rotating through and see what is it about these pieces. I encourage you to check out Vogue.com and look at some of the fashion shows yourself. See where there's something that makes you go, ooh, I want that. How can I get that without spending $1 million on a single piece? Because that is really the essence of creating your own signature style. Creating your own signature pieces is part of that, I think, personally. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the third one. Now, the third one is really appropriate for the time, seeing as Y2K has been a huge influence on style and the choices that have been made over the past year and a half or so. This trend is lace trim and lingerie inspired. Think back to the movie 13 Going on 30, when it's the cover of 13 Going on 30. She's wearing the lace trimmed nightgown with her trench coat and passing it off like a dress. Except now that lace trimmed nightgown really is a dress. You can easily go into a thrift store, find an old satin or silk nightgown, add your own lace trim, or you don't even have to add lace trim, honestly, but lace always gives it that extra va-va-voom, sexy, kind of alluring feel for me. So I love me some lace trim, but it doesn't necessarily have to have lace trim. It could just be a simple satin nightgown. And pieces like that can be easily layered with other things. That's why the slip dress was so big for so long. And you could even just use a slip dress as part of this trend. Additionally, to go back a trend to the shine, metallics, sequins, satins can also be part of that trend because they have that reflective quality. So getting something that is satin and shiny is going to cover both of your bases. It's going to give you the metallic and the lingerie inspired at the same time, depending on the piece that you get. So it's very easy to incorporate this trend, and because a lot of these pieces can be used as a base piece under things, they've got longevity like you would not believe. I have lace trimmed silk camisoles from they've got to be like 12, 13 years old now, and they are still in great shape, and I still wear them pretty regularly, because even if lingerie inspired is not in all the time, the lingerie inspired feel jives, it vibes, if you will, with my romantic style personality. And I think a little bit with my glam style personality as well. I tend to sample from both of those. So having something like that in my closet makes sense for me long term because it's part of my style aesthetic. And I this one more time. And I resonate highly with that aesthetic. So this is not something that once the trend fades, I would want to get rid of. It's something that I'm going to keep till I'm 50 at this point, because that would be another 12 years, give or take. So let's talk about the next one. The next trend for spring 2023 is sheer fabrics. Now, sheer fabrics go along really well with the lingerie feel. And there's just something about a sheer fabric in the spring that feels so light and whimsical, and like I could just, float away. So this is a very easy way to add some femininity to your look. If you're looking to mix with something that's a bit more rigid and masculine, such as the edgy style personality, that one tends to have a lot of very hard elements. So combining that with these sheer fabrics really adds this element of, to sound kind of cheesy, like fire and ice, hard and soft, sweet and salty. It's a way to balance it so it's not too far into the extreme of one style personality versus the other. So you can, again, find these brand new in places. You can find them in thrift stores, because a sheer fabric is universally useful for a lot of pieces. And it can also cross over into another category and sheer fabrics with the lingerie trend. So having something that is sheer is going to give you that lingerie feel, as well as, all right, now let's get rid of that. Having that sheer fabric is going to give you not only the lingerie feel, but also cover the sheer fabric trend. And as you see, these rotating through as I'm talking, what was I saying? The sheer fabrics are easy to find because they're used over and over and over again for many purposes, many different trends, and they're easily layered both over things and under things. So don't think this is something you have to wear and be like totally naked and out there in. You can easily add it as a layer under something or over something. And a lot of these, or all of these, really, it's very easy to think of as like, I should have this in a dress, I should have this in a skirt, but really it could be pants, it can be shorts, it could be a top. Some of these can even just be accessories. Actually, all of them probably could be accessories. Sheer fabric headbands, scarves on your head, lace clips. Like there are lots of ways to add all of these elements that are coming up without actually putting them on clothes or on your body as a piece of clothing, I should say. So that brings me to the last one. And the last one is great big giant oversized bags. Great big giant oversized bags are practical and stylish, but can also be a health hazard. So be careful. Let me explain all that. So if you carry a lot of stuff around, I do. I have a baby, so I have the diaper bag. I'm constantly filling that thing. And then I'm like, okay, well, I need XYZ of my own things. Oh, and this other thing of mine, and this other thing of mine. And I'm like, you know what? I should just get my purse as well. So then I've got a diaper bag and I've got a purse. But if I have one of these like giant duffel tote size, actually like double tote sized bags, I could probably fit both in there and still be able to carry the car seat on the other arm. The health hazard comes in because it's so big, we tend to fill it to its capacity and overload ourselves and create body issues. So if you carry your bag consistently on this side, you can create some imbalances in your musculature and really knock your neck and your back out of whack. So you have to be careful with this trend, but it's one that's easily incorporated. It's one that you could, if you were thrifty and not thrifty, what's the word I want? Talented? Creative? Yeah, we'll go with creative. If you're creative enough, you can take something like an old comforter at a thrift store and turn it into a giant bag because it's so big. There's plenty of fabric to work with, and it's cut a few simple shapes and sew them together, and you've got yourself a giant oversized bag. This is not one I would recommend doing with fabric glue because of the weight that it could potentially hold inside. The glue will not hold. This is one that you're going to want to sew if you decide to make your own. Look these over for inspiration and see, how can I incorporate these in a way that works for me? What about these, what elements about these looks that I see and I go, ooh, do I really like? Do I need or want to incorporate the entire thing? Or do I just want to incorporate a small part of it? I encourage you, Vogue.com, check out the runway shows from spring 2023. And once you're done with the spring, you can check out the fall because fashion weeks for fall 2023 are already happening. New York Fashion Week was a week ago or so at this point, or at the time of recording here. So check those out, see what resonates with you. Upgrade your style for the spring. Spring updates, seasonal updates, not just spring, seasonal style updates do not need to be expensive, and they do not need to be a large production. It's all about being strategic and intentional with the pieces that you're adding and looking for when you add these to your wardrobe every season. And also, of course, I don't know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought. Mom brain. Okay, so until next time, my darlings, check the fashion shows. Check the fashion shows. See what resonates with you. Find the pieces to add into your wardrobe and make a plan to upcycle things you have, procure items to upcycle, or if you just want to buy some things, get out there and take a look at what's around. I will have on my Pinterest, if you're following me over on Pinterest, and I'll make sure that it's linked in the description for this video, should also be in my profile. So if you're not following me over on Pinterest, you can do that. But I'm adding a shopping list for Amazon inspired by these 5 trends. So if there are things that you want and you're like, oh, I love the sequins, I want some sequin pieces, where am I going to find pieces that I really like? I've put together some pins with pieces that you can see and go right to on Amazon and buy those. So look for those coming over the next couple of weeks. I'm really taking my time to, what's the word I want? Oh, what is this loose hair business? I'm really taking my time to, not procure. What's the word I want? Curate. That's the word. I'm really taking my time to curate the best possible pieces at a varying degree of price points and doing my very best to keep it reasonable, because sometimes these updates that we add to our wardrobe don't last forever. And so it's okay if you don't want to spend $1 million updating your wardrobe, or even $100. That's perfectly fine. So until next time, mind your style, my loves. Bye.